Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. Hope you are all enjoying us. It's Tuesday and I still can't get that song out of my head. Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. We're here to discuss what was a very entertaining afternoon in the East Midlands, and of course discuss the season on a whole right here on West Ham Unofficial. And as you can tell, we said it before we went on air, felt like a win. Joined by a couple of guests that were there at the King Power alongside me on Sunday. Firstly, Nigel, how are you, mate?
I'm very good, Jake. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad at all. And Andy, great idea that was, my friend. How are you, mate?
Cheers.
Cheers. I've got a glue stick. Got a pen.
I'm good. I'm good.
I have to drink them pens.
Exactly.
The ink out of it. Suck the ink out of it.
I thought you was going to say you were vaping, and I was going to be very disappointed with you when you said you got a pen. I was going to say.
Let's see what we've got in the chat. Terry, hope you are well, mate. Yeah, did anybody at all learn any new songs over the weekend? Honestly, I was knackered. It was quite hot and stuffy in that corner. We were quite near the top, and jumping up and down, I was knackered.
Wait, did you notice? I said before.
It shook. Yeah.
It shook. It does shake, doesn't it?
That stand shook. And to be fair, it probably shook more because we were all jumping up and down, going absolutely mental. And it did. It did. I did notice. I still went, flipping out, this stand is shaking. I couldn't believe it. Trini says the fans went through a whole catalogue of songs at the weekend. Tell you what, it was absolutely brilliant because, I mean, we didn't give a toss what happened on the pitch. It was a party that we wanted to have.
True.
And we just had a party, didn't we? And we wound them up big time, Andy.
Yeah, no, we did. And I was like right on the corner flag, so I couldn't. But I had a few of my mates were like what Nigel said, right next to the home fans. And they said they started a few cheers, which then Leicester thought that Bournemouth scored. Yeah. We've done it twice during the game. And I thought that was hilarious as well. But yeah, the songs were good. And the one that got me was Lanzini, when Lanzini come on and he done the clapping. That Joe, like when you're trying to hold I'm not gonna lie, I had a little tear in my eye when we started singing that one.
Well, yeah, exactly, and that's one thing I will give credit to Moyes for as well, because he didn't have to bring Lanzini on 2 games in a row. He's fully aware of the situation. He's fully aware that he's been at the club for 7 or 8 years, and it was nice, just to touch on that, to send Lanzini off properly, because he's given us some sensational moments. I don't think I've ever ran around my living room as frantically as I did when that ball hit the back of the net at Spurs away a few years ago, and to give Lanzini that send off and to sing his name and for him to clap us, I thought that was brilliant, Nigel.
Yeah, he's not just that goal against Spurs. I remember a few seasons ago we beat them 1-0 home, and he scored that one as well, which brought the lid off the London Stadium. But which is, that was a real good feel good factor. That was when he scored that goal. So yeah, and he has been a loyal servant to the club, and he deserves all the credit that we've given him over the years. He's a great player.
Obviously, because I saw, like, Nigel, the one what you said, but the one for me, I know Jake was there, was Palace away last year when he flipped it up. Seeing that live was ridiculous. When he scored that.
We was there. That's when we was at the top, just before we was at the top of that stand. You can't see anything.
So we were back there.
Way down. I held a disabled guy's wheelchair so I could pretend I was with him so I could watch the game. But...
Well, shout out if he's watching. That was the first time I met Dobbsy, because I got a ticket off Dobbsy that day. So yeah, Dobbsy, hello, if he's watching.
Well, yeah, because that game as well, because we were in, because there's sort of 2 sections at Palace Away, and there's the front bit, and then there's like the bit at the back, and we were in the bit at the back that day, and I couldn't tell whether it was absolutely brilliant or we just sort of bumbled it in. When I saw it back after, I went, oh my God, what a goal that is.
But talking of that, if I didn't have that seat, Frankel was sitting in the seat below me. That's the first when I saw Frankel. Yeah, Frankel was there. Yeah, so and that day I had that. So I met. No, I love Frankel. I love him.
I'll tell you what, that ground has got 2 sections. It's got the shit section.
Oh no,
and the shit section.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you know what? And that is just a horrible. Me and Una have actually said we might not even go to that away game next season because we hate it that much. The highlight of Palace away this year was that mouthy fan in the who got chased he got collared outside after giving it the big one, and he ran and jumped in someone's garden like a kid running away from school bullies. And they said about 150 West Ham fans had him hostage in the garden. Right. He caused a riot, the geezer. It's like, it was so funny. Oh.
No, we are funny, aren't we? We do take the mick. Now, Trini says I would have preferred Everton to go down. Honestly, if you would have asked me that in the pub before, I'd have sort of agreed with you. But I tell you what, it was so funny when Everton scored in there, like especially because, to be fair, you know, and you've got to give credit to Leicester, because I thought they did at the start. They did things right. You know, they had their stupid clappers. They had a few flags going around, and they created a bit of an atmosphere in there, which probably got them up a bit. And then they scored, and they did the stupid doo-doo, and then they scored again, and they were going down. Whatever happened, they could have scored 15 goals, and they were still going down, but they continued playing the music, and we celebrated it more than they did the second goal. Like, go on.
I honestly thought it was David Luiz again. He reminds me of David Luiz, their defender.
Sideshow Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, FaZe is his name. I don't know. I don't know. But overall, it was just a complete party atmosphere, and there was limbs in the away end for a goal that we didn't even score. Only West Ham could do that. No one else was going to go there. You know, the specific circumstances that was under, we were safe and thankful for that. We've got a cup final coming up. We sort of wanted them to stay up, but it was funny when they were taking the mick out of us. So we then wanted them to go down. All the circumstances came together for us to just take the absolute mick out of them. I'll tell you what, it was absolutely brilliant. And
it's the irony. It's the irony of that tune. That's what done it.
And the sort of tasty reception Jamie Vardy got when he came on. Jamie Vardy, your wife is a grass, made me laugh.
And then we got he's one more than you bet, didn't we?
Oh yeah. Then they went next to us. They go, he's one more than you, and then we went, you're still going down.
No, the best one though is say hello to Millwall. That's the best one.
Oh, it was absolutely brilliant. They all came out, and I tell you what, and one thing as well is when you know, we started singing Paqueta's name, and he put his hand up, and then he actually got subbed off, so he came and walked like right past us. And I like it when players do that, because they don't always do that. They don't have to, and they don't, you know, always acknowledge as they're going off or whatever. And he did a couple of times, and that was loud at that moment as well. Hopefully we can keep hold of him in the summer. And overall, I mean, nobody really gave a toss about the result. Let's bring on somebody else that was also there. I was going to say yesterday. No, it was on Sunday, wasn't it? Danny, Danny from the Bowling Pert. Nice to meet you on Sunday, Danny. How are you, mate?
I'm very good, thank you, Jake. Pleasure to see you and your dad. And hello, Nigel and Andy as well.
Mate, you all right?
I'm all good, mate.
You were run quite near the front on Sunday. How did you enjoy proceedings?
Jake, I can't actually really remember a lot. I was slaughtered. I do remember meeting you, but I don't actually remember a lot. I was just sitting here as usual talking, and I vaguely remember some of the songs. I remember the say hello to Millwall bit, but I'll try and make this very brief. I went out Saturday because we got relatives over from Florida. So we had a rather heavy Saturday from like midday and I'll try and make this as short as possible. And you may see a few pictures of horses and me getting tagged with horses. What happened? I'm known for being quite tight with my money. Me and the missus missed the last district line train. So she said, get a cab. I said, I'm walking. She said, we're getting a cab. Cab pulled up. She said, get in. I said, no. She waved and drove off. Me being me, I decided I'd cut across all these fields, and I ended up surrounded in the middle of a field at about 1 o'clock, early hours of the morning, surrounded by horses. And I thought I was actually about to be killed. So I'd done a Facebook Live message with everyone was obviously slaughtering me. And I had to get up within 4.5 hours and go to Leicester, and I just carried on drinking, and I don't actually remember a lot of the day. I just remember thinking my life was about to end with all these horses attacking me.
Well, talking at the pub, they were doing flipping Jaeger bombs 2 for a £5. I mean, Nicky had a few of them as well.
They were walking around one day. We went in quite early, and we got there and got a table and sat down. And so we had we got a huge platter of food. We ate that, and this woman came round starting to flog us like £5 burgers right? And then this bloke came around with a tray with 2 for $5 Jaeger bombs. So I said, I think I'll be all right, mate. And he just laughed and walked off.
But he kept coming to the table outside.
Pardon?
Oh, sorry, Nige.
I said them burgers were probably going for them horses in that field at Danny.
Oh, someone's ringtone's going off as well. It's all
Sorry.
going off there. It's all
Sorry.
going off there. I tell you what, though. To be fair, I didn't even batter an eyelid, Danny. I thought you were fine on Sunday. I didn't know you were absolutely hammered.
Oh, I was struggling. And the good thing was, the good thing, my missus had laryngitis and she completely lost her voice. So she couldn't say anything. But there you go. You live and learn. I'll get in a cab next time. It was only I think it was £27. I should have just shut up, got in the cab. But I couldn't believe it. She just drove up the cab, he bibbed and she waved. I got in about 2.5 hours later, expecting her to say, "Oh, you all right, babe?" She was sound in bed. So I pulled all the covers up, I disturbed her, caused a bit of a barney. And then, oh dear, exactly.
And then get up and go Leicester Away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I just carried on drinking because I drank a litre.
You're in a homeless shelter at the moment.
Am I what? Sorry?
You're in a homeless shelter or actually at home now?
Why, does it look like a homeless shelter?
No, I say you might be. I thought you might be kicked out.
No, you're joking. No, I was kicked out, but she's not in. So now what we done? We paid for her aunt and uncle to go and have a tour of the London Stadium today. So she's gone up and met them.
Oh, right.
So her aunt's actually from Plaistow, but she moved to America about 30 years ago, and married to a proper sort of American. And well, just thought I'd show them that as my little treat. The Olympic Stadium, not Upton Park, but it is what it is, isn't it?
It is what it is. Let's take some more of your comments. Trini says, any of you been to Luton's grounds? I've been there back in the day, proper minging. I've never been there. You never know.
Yeah, I have.
Might get there next year.
We lost them. We lost the semi-final there. That's the only time I've been there. And again, I was slaughtered that day. I think we was drinking special brew that day. But Scott Oakes. I don't know if either of you remember this.
I remember the game, yeah. And I've never seen. I said to Steve Potts the other day, I was with Steve Potts, and I said,
That's
you know
it.
what, Steve? I said, I was telling my mates, we watched that game, and I said, I was telling everyone, you'd never made a mistake, and you had a complete night out. And he got hat-trick, didn't he?
Yeah, Scott Oakes scored an hat-trick, and Potsy, Mr. Reliable. I remember their goalie done a big oof up the pitch. We see it coming down. We thought Potsy's got that all day. Just foot over the ball. Oakes done run rings round him, scored an hat-trick. We went home with our tail between our legs.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Well,
did they go on to play Arsenal, did they, in the final?
I can't remember if they got to the final or the semi-final.
No, there was one year, because I know we ended up going to watch and we ended up in with the Luton fans at Wembley and they played Arsenal. I don't know if that was the same year.
It might be the same year. I remember when we beat them. I remember when I'm remembering that game and then really being gutted, and I think we beat them a couple of seasons later or something, 5-0 at home. McAvenny got a hat-trick.
Well, to be fair, though, you know, Andy, me and you youngsters, we weren't even born to see that.
Well, there is that.
Yeah, talking
how old's Andy then?
I was born in 91. So
91?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
did you have a 55-mile paper round?
Talking of Macca, I met Macca and TC on Friday at the E13 event at the Rust Club. Met John Hartson, Harewood, and Jimmy Quinn was there.
My missus was there. Did you see her? She was very drunk on the Friday. Her and Tracy.
I'm not surprised. There was a lot of people drunk, Danny. I went to the Weatherspoons first before we even went there, so I had a few.
I was actually talking to Tony Cotty today. Do you know the club didn't give him any tickets? I don't give him any tickets. Do you know that? It's right out of all.
Yeah.
The club don't give him any tickets.
No.
It's not good.
No, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, he don't. I was talking about it today, and he said no, they don't give me nothing. He got a ticket last minute off someone at the semi-final. Yeah, I know, that's bad news, isn't it? You'd think that someone who's done as much for West Ham as he has, and he's probably one of the best strikers we've ever had, isn't he? So, you know, to not get a ticket. Just at least get a complimentary or something. Just
Yeah.
it's still wrong.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. I just presumed that you get them, that you got them. Let's take some calls. Gary and Mike, thank you very much for joining us. As well, Sharky, thank you very much. Sorry to see the news, but that your channel's been demonetized. Well, we're trying to get it fixed because the awful stuff we do over here, they've decided to demonetize me. So because we do some more dodgy stuff around there. So
Why is that then? I don't explain that, Jake. I don't understand that.
Oh crikey! It's a long story. Basically, they've stopped me earning from any money through memberships and all of it. So they basically stopped it. I've appealed it, and hopefully we'll get it back.
For what reason? For what reason? Because of your age, or?
No, not that. It was something completely separate. Hopefully it will get itself sorted. But yeah, we will see.
Good luck. He was having dealings with Ivan Toney.
No, I won. No, I won. I got receipts. Mike says, Terry, what was the food like up there? I tell you what, in that pub, it wasn't bad. We had some hot dog chips. We had some chicken wings with barbecue sauce, all of it. It was nice. Then I went in the ground and went, right, I'm going to have a burger here. Got to the till, don't do burgers. The hot dog looked like it had been sat there for about 3 hours. So I'm like, right, I'm not having a hot dog. I slowly convinced myself to have a pie, and to be fair, steak and ale pie, it weren't bad, but the lack of burger option in the ground disappointed me. That's the only thing I'll say about the food, but it is what it is. Right then, so we will get. Oh Christ, what's he doing there? Have you got a Man United shirt on?
Oh.
Why would I be wearing a Man United shirt?
Well, you were wearing a Man City shirt the other day, so
well, that's different. They're my European team because I'm sick of not having any glory. But hopefully, we're going to get some of that next week. Hey, everybody, good to see you all. This is actually North Texas. It's like the local. I mean, it's not like a lower division because it doesn't work like that in America. But it's FC Dallas's like feeder team. So small team. Some of my friends played for him, so they gave me a shirt.
That sounds like West Ham.
Yeah.
We're a bit of a feeder team, aren't we?
Well, to be fair, Adam, I mean, everybody on this screen, apart from you, was at Leicester on Sunday, so no excuses, really.
Well, yeah, that's because I was in the next best place, like about
Las
6
Vegas.
weeks ago. Yeah, because we were in chance of relegation was on the card 6 weeks ago. Me and a bunch of friends, we just booked Vegas because we're like, if there is even a slither of a chance we're going down, let's just do it in Vegas where we can, enjoy the time afterwards. But yeah, the game was pretty. We still went to the pub and watched the game, but it's funny because in America, fans don't sing songs. It's not like when we go to West Ham, and away fans are the same. So we go to pubs here. And American fans, or even British people that have gone to America to watch the team, they never sing along. So we went to this bar, which is the Liverpool Supporters Club in Las Vegas. We had more people than they did. And their staff are getting their phones out, recording us as we're singing, going through the repertoire and having fun.
Wow.
But we find it is weird how you just don't get that in America. They really don't see that. And it's a shame your family that come over from America, it's a shame they couldn't see a game just to have that experience of what real sport that matters is. Here, sport is secondary to the money. I went to my first Dallas Cowboys NFL game and I'm sat watching the game and the players are all on the field, just like having a chat. And I turned to someone, I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, why aren't they doing something? And they're like, oh, it's commercial break. So I'm like, hang on. The sport stops so you can play more adverts on the television? Yeah, that's how it works here. It's bizarre.
Do you know what, though? Have you ever seen, you should do yourself a favour and watch them. They have the American, when they go to the MLS games?
Yeah.
They've got someone who's a fight and win. And it's cringe. Oh, my God. Danny, it's awful.
It's so bad. So thankfully at FC Dallas, at the local club that I go to, they don't have one of those. They have a corner full of Mexicans that are screaming and shouting and waving shirts and letting flares off. But at some of the bigger grounds, there are literally like little stalls that they stand on and face the crowd and lead them in these cringy songs. Everything about it is cringy. The things they're saying, the way they're saying it, the people in the stands that are saying it. Like, it's honestly the most cringy thing you'll ever see.
Should we get back to something interesting, Adam?
Sorry, Jacob.
I was falling asleep there. Like, you just ramble on, don't you?
No wonder the channel's been demonetized.
Shut up. Right, I'll tell you what I've done just to really relive the atmosphere. I've found one of the videos. I've got no idea what this video is going to have on it, so we're soon going to find out. We're going to learn together. This is from Sunday, and we're going to find out together. Right, what's on there? Honestly, it's not good.
I completely forgot that. Until you've just said, yeah, we was doing that for ages, weren't we?
yeah.
They do stick in your mind. When we went to Alkmaar the other day, we was on the bus, and there was this chant, and it just stuck in my head, and it wouldn't get out of my head for like the whole week. Do you know what I mean? I'm driving along in the car singing it, and
mine's the same with the Paqueta song. I'll be just sitting there around me, and I'll just start singing the Paqueta song randomly.
I just sort of like go around the house, just going, I case the Samara in my head today. I'm like, oh, when we get to sing that, something's good's happened. So I'm like, I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm going to take advantage. So Danny, is it all sort of like coming back to you now? Like everything that happened?
Yeah, little. You know, when you wouldn't know, Jake, because you're too young. When you've had a proper old drink up, and you just suddenly people remind you of things, and you just don't. You weren't doing anything too cringeworthy at the time. But talking of songs, I wrote a song about Snodgrass. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and they sung it. I posted it up online to see how it'd go, and people sung it away at Fulham, and I heard it on the telly, and I was thinking, how good is that? And then I was standing on the bridge going across at Stratford a few weeks after that, and in the distance I could hear my song being sung by a group of, and I thought to myself, in a small way, this must be like what Noel Gallagher feels like when they're all singing one. I was looking around thinking, how good is that? I read that. It was along the lines of, oh, Snodgrass, Campton, to where the claret and blue, our owners didn't like him. They haven't got a clue. They sent him off to Villa to get him out of the way. But Pelly brought him back home because he plays a West Ham way. Oh. And to hear other people singing it, it's such a buzz, honestly. It's such a great feeling when something you've written down, you hear other voices singing it.
You're always writing stuff, aren't you, Dan? You're always
yes.
No,
always.
Well, that just brought it back Leicester Away when I turned up at the pub, because that's when the Zoma song was created. That was the first game, wasn't it? After he kicked the cat as well, so that brought back some memories as well.
Yeah, and then he sort of pulled out with a sickness bug about 20 minutes before, didn't he? No relevance at all to it, by the way. No relevance at all. But yeah, we had some memorable moments, and to sort of relive that, somebody bought an orange cat to the pub on
I
on
met
Sunday
that fella.
well.
It was the same fella.
Yeah.
I said to him, what you got out there? See, it's all coming back to me now. I tried nicking it off him outside near the toilets. I tried grabbing his orange cat. It was a little tiger, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then there was this little lad that was on his dad's shoulders, and he was really playing with everyone. He was like, oh, and then he was just punching it away.
You know what? If you ever want to play a shirt, we've discovered this, right? There's a young kid, I think he's called Fraser, always at the games, always down the front. Now, all the players come, and there was loads of shirts being there. I was in the front row. There was loads of shirts being thrown into the crowd. You know that kid must have a whole kit's worth of shirts.
Yeah.
Because he gets down, and even his dad's grabbing them. And so I said, we'll have to get a little blonde-haired kid if I want a shirt. Because that's what they always come in the front to, a little blonde-haired kid.
Watch him there.
He got Paqueta's shirt. Actually got Paqueta's shirt. He's been waiting all season to get his shirt. And he had a Brazilian flag with him, and he put it up in front, and Paqueta would give it to him. So he's got his shirt. Last game of the season, he got Paqueta's shirt. So
brilliant.
He was well happy about that.
I did see it was at our gaff when Ronaldo come back for Man United. Like someone in the West Ham end had a big bit of cardboard, and they writ on it, Ronaldo, can you get me Declan's shirt? I thought, how good's that? Proper ruin Ronaldo there. Get me Declan's shirt.
That's good.
Yeah,
Just to sort of touch on the game slightly. I mean, we didn't watch it. I was too busy jumping up and down. I couldn't, I couldn't give a toss what happened on the pitch. Adam, did you watch it? Because I didn't.
Yeah. I mean,
It weren't
I
worth
think with
watching,
everything,
was
it was more of a celebration, really, of
Yeah.
like the fact that we didn't go down. No one cared about the result. Really, the only thing we cared about is not getting injuries.
Yeah.
And they're at this pub, because all the games are shown here, so they had like 5 TVs around us with 5 different matches on. And to be honest, there were many other games that were a lot more entertaining than our one, so I kept getting distracted. But from what I saw, it was a pretty dire performance, wasn't it? But I mean, I think that the players probably cared just about as much as we did.
I don't know, 4-0 scared. See him get the ball. He scored that goal. He ran, he got the ball. Come on, get back. We want to get an equaliser.
It was like, come on, let's do it. And I think Nicky said it on his vlog when we scored when we got one back. Andy, if we would have scored another one, that place would have went mental if we equalised.
Yeah, no, it would have. And like going back to 4-0, I'm glad he's got his goal. Obviously, he's got his goal in Alkmaar, and to be honest, I think he's pushing for a start for the final. It might not agree with everyone, but for me, I would play him. People say that he hasn't got the pace and he doesn't, but whenever I've seen him play, I know he dropped a little bit of confidence. He's very thinking with the ball, and he passes the ball forward as quick as he can. As soon as he gets it, he plays it in good moments, and I think him and Paqueta could perform a good understanding like in the future as well as the final.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think he's a super player, and I've always been a fan of 4-0s, and I've never seen someone work. You watch his game, that fella's all over the pitch, and I'm a big fan of Pablo myself. Really, really.
Same here.
I hope he gets a start, because he gets a lot of flack, and he really don't deserve it. And he loves the club, mate. When you love the club like he does, you know you're going to get 100% out of the player.
And I think as well, the moment that sort of resonated with me was at Bournemouth away when he scored that goal, and it was a pretty irrelevant goal to us, it was just a bit. And was it the 3rd or the 4th goal of Bournemouth? And he came over and the geese was in tears. He's had a crap season because he can't get in the team, and he was emotional. We'd scored, and it was a great little flick that he got back and nestled it away into the corner, and we were a matter of meters away from him, and you could see he was crying, and that's what it means to him. And I do love him as a as a bloke, and I do wish at times he would just improve that little bit more, because he can get to that next level where he can consolidate himself in that starting lineup, because we all love him, but he's just not quite getting to that. And maybe with his confidence, he's a huge confidence player. He's ran off very low confidence all season. He scores goal against Alkmaar, plays against, was it Leeds? He was one of the best players on the pitch, the best Fortnite's performance I think we've seen all season. He's another player that runs off confidence, and you can see it through the whole team, Adam, where players are a bit more sort of confident in knowing each other and knowing each other's strengths and weaknesses. And he was just, the whole team seems to be improving with each other and with the confidence they get in.
Yeah, I think with Pablo, I mean, it comes down to, and I don't want to, turn this into a let's get rid of Moyes thing again like normal, but, I think that the biggest problem with 4-0 is you've got someone who cares about the club, gives 110%, works his arse off every single game, but you've got a manager who's just too stubborn to make changes, as in, he has his mold and he has his idea, and he won't change things to fit players in a place that they are going to perform better. If it don't fit with the way that he wants to see it, then it just isn't going to happen. And I think that that's where Pablo 4-0, Scamacca, that's where some of these players have come a little bit unstuck, really, and not getting their opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. Sharky mentions there, Rice was emotional at the end, I'm told. You three will know this better than me because I was 2 rows from the back. But I seemed to notice as well when he walked over, he looked different. He's always up and he's having a laugh and he's clapping us all, and he's having a bit of banter with us all. But he looked upset as he walked over, he put his shirt in, and sort of just walked off and didn't really give us too much. Did you think he looked quite emotional?
No, I think it's because he's still going to be here. I don't think he's going to leave. I really don't. I know that goes against what everyone else thinks. I just think he's going to stay.
I reckon
Maybe
one more year as
wishful
well.
thinking. Maybe it's wishful thinking.
Nigel?
I've often spoke to his brother on numerous occasions. Like I see his brother a lot, sitting, in corporate with him and that. And he, you don't want to say anything to them, do you? Do you know what I mean? Because you don't want to sort of say, "Oh, is Dick going to stay?" Do you know what I mean? Or stay or whatever. And yeah, it's an awkward one, isn't it? But I see he said something today about Paqueta. He was saying, that Lucas has really come into his own since he's come here, and I think he ended it with something along the lines of "Long may it continue." And it was, do you know what I mean? You just don't know what's going to happen, do you? Until it happens.
If I'm being perfectly honest, I reckon he's going to do exactly the same what Grealish. I reckon he'll sign a new deal in the summer with the release clause in it, so we get the money. If someone wants him that much, they have to pay the money, like what Villa done. And I reckon he'll stay another. Especially if we win the Conference League, he'll stay for another year. If we don't, I think it will.
We got to win it, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it really comes down to him. I mean, I think he's coming off that field, and just like us, yes, there's conversations, but no decision's been made. He knows that there is a chance that that's the last time, the last time he plays for West Ham in the Premier League. There is a chance of it, but it all comes down to what offers come in, and I think there are loads of things. Like, I've had the fortune of seeing behind the scenes here in the MLS and, being involved in some transfer things. And,
Here he goes again.
It doesn't matter. I'm not trying to be specific and drop names, but I just mean that, you don't know until that offer's on the table and until it's there. It isn't up to Declan Rice, until that happens.
And I think as well, we're in for a long summer of rumours, because I don't think this will get sorted straight away after the final. I think this will run well into July, and the media are going to love this, because TalkSport can put out their posts on Twitter every week. How much is Declan Rice?
You got the radio station wrong. It's called Talk Rice, Jake.
Oh yeah,
Talk
sorry, Talk Rice. Yeah, because they've I reckon what they do is their media manager. I reckon he sits down at the start of every month and he schedules in a tweet once a week, going, "How much is Declan Rice worth?" Like one of them thinking emojis. It happens like clockwork. Or every single time he has a good performance, right? Let's put it on there. There we go. How much is Rice worth? It will run, and this is the media's absolutely perfect thing, because they're going to focus on it. They're going to keep running rumours like, I don't know whether he's called Tuchel or not. I don't know whether he's going to Bayern. I ain't got a flipping clue. None of us have. But the media are going to spin it, and the newspapers will make things up, because that's what the newspapers do. They'll go, right, let's get a club that the people will believe, and we'll just lob it into the paper. We'll lob it online. There we go. Rice to Newcastle. They want to pay 100 million. It'll go all summer. And until we see X put on, then I don't think we can say anything's clear as day. And even, until we see the official confirmation, Declan Rice has left West Ham on an undisclosed fee. We don't know. It's going to be a long summer of transfer rumours, but at the end of the day, we don't know until we go onto Twitter and we see that he's gone. So I don't know. In terms of Moyes, I mean, it's been of course a difficult season. We've lost 20 Premier League games this season, which I don't think you can sway away from. But many people have said on Twitter as well that if we do win the Conference League, we finished 14th. I think we did in the end. A normal finish for a West Ham side and a trophy. Surely you can't sack him then. Let's go round. Nigel?
No, I don't think you can. I think we'd be happy, especially Danny, you've supported West Ham a long, long time, like I have, since we were kids, and you don't get a lot of success, mate. And winning the trophy is a massive thing to us. And Moyes, much as he's a negative so-and-so, and he's, we've had some great times, and you know what? If he wins that trophy, you can't knock the bloke. You can't, because, I mean, what can you say? Do you know what I mean? It's a trophy, a European trophy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's nothing to be sniffed at. Everyone's going to be, Tin Pot Cup, Mickey Mouse Cup. It's a cup, and a European cup at that. So yeah, I mean,
I'll look at it the same way as Nigel. Maybe it's an elderly. Maybe we look at it different. There's only a few trophies up for grabs every season. The Premier League's completely beyond our grasp, so take that one out of the equation. That then leaves us a FA Cup, the League Cup, and something in Europe for everyone, pretty much, unless you're Man City. So to win one, you cannot sack someone, or can you? But that's football for you. Possibly you can. Like maybe if he was Chelsea's manager or something like that, he could still win that and still get the sack. But personally, I feel if we win a trophy with only realistically 3 up for grabs each season, then if you sack him, he's our first manager in donkey's years to actually win something.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's like I'm less. It's less about David Moyes for me, and it's more about, are there other managers out there that are available, that Sullivan has spoken to, that want the job, that have ideas of how to take West Ham to the next level and build a project for a long period of time. You know, would it be harsh for Moyes to win a trophy and get sacked? Definitely, it would be really harsh. But I think it's about the future. And it's less about getting rid of him for the sake of getting rid of him, and more about if someone like, and look, I mean, I'm not, there are pros and cons for everyone, but someone like Graham Potter comes to the club with an idea of, hey, this is how I would build, this is what I would do. That's the sort of thing that I think at that point, all right, yeah, let's replace him with someone else. But yeah, it would be incredibly harsh. But you got to think about the future, and you got to think about, if Rice does go, we have a significant amount of money to spend. And at that point, it would probably be better to bring someone else in with some fresh ideas who we're going to invest in. I think
as well, just to jump in, I do think if we do let Rice go in the summer, it's a turning point for the club. It's an end of an era for the football club. We've got to go in a different identity, because we can't play the same football. No wonder who we bring in as a defensive midfielder replacement. Andy, your view on the subject?
If we win the Conference League, I reckon he'll leave on his own accord. He's won a trophy. I think, if I'm being perfectly honest, I think he knows his time's up. If I'm being perfectly honest, the football's not been great, and I know everyone says like Mourinho when he's won trophies, Man United, for example, he won trophies there, and they played poor football, but they won a trophy. And look what they've done. They brought Ten Hag in. They're playing really exciting football. They won the Carabao Cup. That's slow progress for them. And I agree with Frankel. I think Graham Potter is the man. I really do think that we can get that mentality back. And I know a lot of people. I think the frustrating part is Twitter's very toxic, and I'm seeing people like turning their nose up at James Ward-Prowse. Might not be everyone's cup of tea. He's never going to be a Declan Rice. But the one thing what you can say is a captain for Southampton, and I can guarantee he'll be involved in at least another 15 goals for us if he signed for us in the summer, at least.
He's definitely a player that splits opinions through it, and there's the side that people rate him, and then there's the side that go, the only thing he does is score free kicks and contribute to set pieces. I'm undecided on him. If we sign him, I'm not going to go, that's the worst signing we've ever made, but the sort of 50 million that I've seen banded around 40 million, of course, that's what he's worth to Southampton. And if they remained in the Premier League, they've got every right to do that. But they're relegated. He will leave Southampton this summer.
I think a couple of players, fringe players, what we've got, like we can include someone probably like Ben Johnson. I think his future's pretty much good. I think he might be out of contract actually, but you know what I mean. We've got a couple of fringe players what we can probably include on that. Gents, what about you? Are you a Ward-Prowse fan, or do you think he's just overrated?
I like him.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think that, I can see Declan Rice going to Man City, and ideally what I'd like to see, I've said this to a few people, I'd like to see us get a cash plus Calvin Phillips and have the money to buy Ward-Prowse, because Ward-Prowse, his free kicks alone and his delivery from corners and stuff like that is easily worth 15, 20 goals a season. And Calvin Phillips ain't a bad player. We haven't seen the best of him. Do you know what I mean? So I think with Calvin Phillips and Ward-Prowse, you've got two very, very good players there with the Declan Rice money.
I'd throw Tielemans into that and all. Plays for Leicester.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's what?
He's a tosser, though, isn't he?
He's a proper footballer though. When it comes down to it, he's a good footballer, and he's only young still. I think I don't think he's 24, 25 years old.
I think
there's a very nice mural on the wall when you go to Anderlecht's ground. When you walk down towards Anderlecht's ground, I said, "Look at that! It's a big mural of his face on the wall."
Is it really?
Yeah, it's brilliant. I was going to take a picture of it actually. I think I might have it. I might try and post it on.
And another one as well was Conor Gallagher as well. He should be available as well.
Yeah, that's another one.
And the ones we've got to take into consideration here, Franco, is that there are a few players that we could take out of relegated sides that, they haven't got the say like we have to Declan Rice. We are well within our right to go, no, we don't want 8 million, we want more, and keep him this summer, no doubt. And then he'll probably leave unless he signs a contract on a free next summer. We're well, within our rights to do that. However, what you've got there as well, you've got Tielemans, who's 26 years old. You've got that Lavia, who plays for Southampton in midfield as well. I think he's a decent player. You've got a Ward-Prowse. There's plenty of replacements are there, but the key thing we've got to do is whoever's manager and whoever's going to stay the manager, they have the say in who's a replacement for Declan Rice if he leaves.
Would you any of you take Harvey Barnes?
Yeah.
He's his son player, isn't
he? Yeah.
He's very, very quick as well. And that's something what I've said we've got no one.
Bastard. Oh, fuck.
What did you do?
I got cramp in my fucking toe.
Oh, dear.
Don't get old, Jake. Oh,
You're going to get me demonetised a second time.
Oh, sorry.
That's not right.
We've never had any, we've lost that. You need that player who's like lightning quick, do you know what I mean? And we never seem to get them, do we? We've never had anyone frightening. Do you remember old Kanchelskis that used to play at Man United? And players really just go past people, I was talking to my missus today because I was with Stuart Slater today, and I'm quite pally with him. And she never knew him as a player, do you know what I mean? But how good was he?
He was lightning, and the ball was stuck to his feet, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's such a good player.
Well, when you really, sorry, Jake. When you really think about it, our recent wingers, probably our most direct. The last one was probably Matty Everton. That proves how long ago that was. Do you know what I mean? Direct with the ball and cross the ball in. Everyone else are inverted and cutting in and crossing it. I know Harvey Barnes plays on the left, but you know what I mean. Someone that he can still cross with his left, and I think, like you said, we'll definitely score a lot more goals. Skamaka would thrive on that.
That's it. Lazaridis was another one, wasn't he? He'd go down the line, wouldn't he, and get the ball in. Kevin Keane.
Who?
Adam.
Kevin Keane.
I'll be right back. Bear with me.
Oh, he's going. Oh, he's off. Where's he going?
He's going to get a shirt, and he's got a Lazaridis shirt, I bet you.
Yeah, I know.
Or
He's
something
got
like
to
that.
get something. Got to get something. Right, let's take some of your comments. Before we do, got a bit of an exclusive for you. At the end of the week, we will be joined by a former West Ham player to discuss that final that is, of course, taking place in Prague. You've got between now and the end of the show to try and guess who that is.
Is there a hint?
No.
Jimmy Quinn.
It's not Jimmy Quinn. It's not Jimmy
Have
Quinn.
they won anything?
I will say yes. WG58 says Declan has a lot of emotional investment in West Ham. Don't be surprised if he stays for one more year. Is that a good invitation to go or not?
What's it? Whoa, oh.
It might not have been about that at all.
It never
but
comes
I
out the
couldn't
same
help
text.
No.
I couldn't help myself. I really couldn't. And one player we've sort of forgotten about, who I've forgotten about certainly, is Gianluca Scamacca. He's been injured. Fornals has been up until the last few weeks. Has been rubbish. I love Fornals, but I couldn't have picked him out of form. He didn't merit a spot. Moyes has got him hungry. He has, and it's the confidence. It's just about that confidence there. Harvey Barnes would give Bowen competition. Yeah, the only issue I have with Harvey Barnes, I think he's a decent player, but I don't see where he fits in, to be honest with you, because wingers wise, we've got Bowen, who's solidified himself very clearly down the right hand side. We've got Ben Rama there. We've got Cornet. If he'll stay or not, I don't know. I'm just, I'm sure he'll want to play first team football. I'm not sure we've got the ability to.
Jake, it might call something. I think he'll go ahead of Ben Rama. If we sign Harvey Barnes, he'll be in the starting 11, 100%.
Over Ben
He's
Rama.
paid, But I could say, obviously you have Paqueta. Maybe you can move Paqueta a little bit back and have Benny in the 10. But for me, if you get Harvey Barnes, you can't leave him on the bench. You can't leave him on the bench.
He's too good. He's too good. He's a fabulous player. I've been a fan of him for a couple of years. After I saw him absolutely skinning us alive down the line a few times, and he's fast. And he's got an eye for goal. He's a very, very good player.
He's very direct, isn't he? He's direct. He just wants to have a go, and they're the players that get the crowd up and going. Someone that gets the ball at their feet and just wants to get their head down and go for it.
So I forgot something from the game, gents, because obviously we were there, and it's bad. Yeah, Danny Ings misses.
Dreadful! Absolutely dreadful.
I couldn't believe that.
He was 6 yards out and he ballooned it over the bar.
I know.
I could have scored that. Oh my life.
And the thing is, and the thing that made me laugh is that a geezer next to it, a bloke the other side of me, and one in front of me, and we all turned to each other and went, "That guy is something I'm not going to say." Honestly, I tell you what, and the thing that made me laugh as well is that he missed it. We all went, "Oh, and then we're duh, 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 duh. Like in any other game this season, with you. Idiot, what are you doing? You absolute, but now it's all right.
He's not been good for us. He's just.
He hasn't.
I think he'll go back to Burnley in the summer. I've got a feeling Burnley will come in for him. I've got a company. I think he'll be gone in the summer. I think.
125 grand a week. He wants to be gone.
Or include him in the Ward Prowse deal. You can have him back.
Yeah.
Chris, I hope you're well, mate. That's very brave of you coming on here. Have you guys watched all our 38 games this season? No hard to rate our players. And so Chris doesn't rate Harvey Barnes. He told me this the other night. He said I wouldn't go too near him. He's been pretty average. So that's what sort of, he said that to me on Thursday in the preview we did, and that sort of took me a little bit by surprise, if I'm honest with you, because
a couple of others said that, Jake, as well. When I was walking back to the car, some of the fans were like, "All right, we were having a conversation. They were wishing us luck in Prague," and I was like, "Oh, what's the two player? One player who someone said is Luke Thomas, the fullback, the young one. People said like we should be looking at him, but." Obviously, Creswell's just been announced that he's got his new 1-year deal, and I can't see us getting rid of Emerson, so I can't see that happening, though.
Yeah. But to be fair, hang on, just to sort of like go off of it a little bit, we have won an award today. Does anyone know what it is?
Fair play, was it?
No.
Yeah, that was one, and the fastest shot.
Powerful goal in the Premier League. Stick that in the cabinet. Sorry, Ben Rama, was it about 107? 107 kilometers per hour. Stick that in the cabinet. We've won the Premier League most powerful goal of the season.
I didn't know that.
A Leicester fan who just come on, he's getting saying, "Oh, Harvey Barnes ain't all that good." Do you know what makes me laugh? Every time I talk to opposing fans, they always say, "Listen, you got to listen." They always go, "Cool, that Antonio's some player, isn't
he?" Yeah, they do.
And I'll just look at him. I'm like.
Now, to be fair, I actually rate Antonio more than the average fan. But yeah, quite a lot. When you go away, a lot of people go, "That's Antonio." I'm like, when he's on it, he can cause you all sorts of problems. But
he scored more goals for us in the Premier League than anyone else, hasn't he?
Yeah. Shall I tell you something about Antonio? Right, this is my right. He can't pass the ball. He can't control the ball. For a big bloke, he falls over. He falls over his own.
He falls over far too easily.
Anything he does, he has to think about. But you kick the ball over the top and let him run onto it, he suddenly turns into Ronaldinho. It's unbelievable. He's just anything he don't have to think about. He's brilliant. As soon as he has to think about something, he looks like a Sunday League player. Honestly.
Yeah.
I love the guy. Do you know what I mean? For what he's done for West Ham, but he ain't no footballer in my eyes. I just can't see him. Do you know what I mean? He's just not a centre forward.
No, fair enough. John says, what scares me is not letting Moyes go or stay, is turning into a Spurs supporter. Some of the comments embarrass me. Open top bus parade for most powerful goal. Oh, it's got to happen. It's got to happen. John says, have you heard the news? The club are doing a fan zone. Club London pint, pie and mash for 60 quid. Yeah.
Well, it's not really a fan. It's in the Club London.
Yeah.
So it's not really.
Yeah.
It's just in the hospitality, but you watch it on the screen, and you'll see the pitch getting digged up to turn into baseball. That's all you'll see when you go.
Or you can pay a tenner and watch it in the fan zone where the supporters club is.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. And as well, if you're over in Prague, the Ironwork Tours have released their watch along in the last hour or so. Inside 25 minutes, they sold 600 tickets for it. So if you are out in Prague and you haven't got a ticket, many people have highly recommended the Ironwork Tours event. So get on that ASAP if you are going.
Are any of you boys going out there?
I can't afford it.
Oh, mate.
I unfortunately booked another holiday, so I'll be in Tenerife watching it. I fly out on Saturday.
Well, I've got a maths exam in the morning and a history exam in the afternoon, so it's not really going to work.
That sounds proper crap, Jake, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. Honestly, so I've got 4 weeks of exams, right? And only on 2 days do I have 2 exams on 1 day. So I've got 2 double headers in 4 weeks, and one of them is on the cup final day, isn't it?
I'm thinking about doing a blog. I was just talking to him about it. Because we're driving. We're going to go from Dover, then we're driving all the way through Germany. Going to have a little jolly up in Germany, then get to Prague.
Have a stein on me, Nigel.
Yeah, I do love a stein. You know, I don't drink. But then everyone, when they see me, I'm drinking.
Yeah, you are.
We said that. We just said, no, we don't drink. And I said, well, we saw you in Germany. Times back and all that. See you in France with wine. I said, well, it's just when we go away. I am thinking about doing a little blog. Do you know what I mean? A little along the way trip of what we see and stuff. So
you do your own version of carpool karaoke.
Could do, yeah. I don't know. I've got one of them croaky voices like Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart numbers and stuff. Bonnie Tyler, Brian Adams. You know. Send me
Kurt Cobain. Bit of Kurt Cobain, he's a croaky. He had a croaky voice. Go for it, Nige.
Yeah, I'll be a bit of a laugh. I thought about doing it for a bit of a laugh. So there's a long old journey for us, and I've drove to most of them, and we made the mistake of that Frankfurt trip going on a Flixbus. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do a Flixbus trip. It was the worst journey of my life to an away game. It was always...
Well, Nigel, some people I know, they're flying to Berlin and getting on one of them buses to Prague.
Oh, yeah, I feel sorry for them already. And I've seen people booking for, going... We looked at the flights and there were stopovers, like 4 stopovers, one in Milan, one in... all over the shop. And I thought, that's just going to do me head in. Because when we went to Larnaca, I'm not a good flyer. Although I've flown a lot of places, I hate it. And Una hates the plane. So we said we'd just have a few whiskies. And then we did get on, and because we don't drink, and then we got on the plane and realised I'd had about 10 whiskies. When I got off, and I had a hire car to pick up. Then when we got to the hire car, Una had hired it, and then what she'd failed to tell us is that her driving licence was out. What was it? It was her face had expired on the drive. I think he felt sorry for us, and he just went, "Just take the car, mate."
Never be able to do that in England.
We've been through some stuff. We always have something. Something always happens.
Something always goes wrong for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was sleeping on a park bench in Paris one morning after that Frankfurt trip. We pulled into this service station. Well, it was a bus station, and when we got in there, honestly, mate, it was like one of them markets in Marrakesh. And we got in there, and we went to go. There was no toilet doors, and when the toilet pan, it was all broken. So if you sat there, you'd have cut your arse open. And it was so bad. And then Una was like, she looked at me, looked at the toilets, and then she said, "I'm just going to go off." And I ended up just going to sleep on a park bench, waiting for the other bus. So it was a horrible trip. But and then we lost in the semi-final, which made it 10 times worse.
Yeah.
So. But, this is going to be a good one. So hopefully I'm going to do a little vlog along the way, a little trip and, driving across Europe to Prague. It should be quite a good laugh.
Oh, brilliant.
And how long? What day are you setting out then?
When are we going? Monday. We're going out on Monday early in the morning on the ferry, and then we're going to drive. And I think we hit Prague. We're going to get to Germany sort of late afternoon, somewhere. I looked somewhere like Dresden or somewhere like that, and then get up in the morning, hit Prague, sort of midday, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock on the 6th, and then we can just get ourselves into Prague mode, and then we've got to find out.
nice.
Yeah, I know.
But it's nice to be because we're corporate a lot of the time. It's horrible for us because we have to sneak in through the away ends and all that. Do you know what I mean? And like it's horrible.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, sometimes having to go. You know, we had to sit on my hands sometimes. You know, I'm one of the people that jump up and go, yeah, and you're surrounded by them. I'll give you grief for that. But yeah, this time we're in the poor seats, which I'm happy with. It's yeah, because I like being in with. I prefer being in with the fans. Do you know what I mean, rather than with the pods. I said to you, last trip we went on, we was in Alkmaar. We thought, oh, this is great. We were sitting with people with Marlon Airwood, Anton Ferdinand, and Tony Gow and all that. And we were sitting right at the top of them steps where them ultras broke the fence down.
God.
You were literally like a metre away from them, weren't
literally
you?
20 yards from it, jumping up the. Do you know what I mean? Up the seats. I was thinking, oh my God, we can put us here, not going to get us killed. But it was each time we should be safe in with our fans. So.
Yeah, so and I do feel for anybody that's booked a restricted view, because I've seen one of those restricted views in that stadium where you're in that corner and there's a big screen there and you can't see like a good percentage of the pitch. So hopefully,
you see both goals though.
Yeah, but you just can't see it in the middle. So hopefully
Stop
that ends.
Do you remember the old North Bank? You don't remember the old North Bank, do you, Jake? You have to get in there early, otherwise you're stuck behind that big post at the back.
Let's take some comments. Chris says, I can't rate your players as I don't watch them enough, but oh my God, that Ings looked amazing.
Oh, he's next level.
Dreadful. Trini says Antonio's pure instinct, and that's what scares defenders. Can't let Antonio, Ings, and Skamaka go in the summer. Going to need 3 strikers in one window. Chris says exams first. Quit yourself a true fan, Jake. Honestly, if there weren't no exams, we'd be the first ones there. Don't you worry about that. But right. Anything else to discuss before we go? Frankel's just disappeared, like he's just not there. But I think we will leave it there and wrap it up inside the hour, boys. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for having me on, Jake.
Cheers, Jake. Fancy getting mugged off on your own show by a Leicester fan.
Yeah.
Well, I don't take no notice to him.
We could do one song before we go, though, couldn't we?
Yeah. Hang on, what we'll do is I'm gonna unmute you all. Let's do this. We're going to Prague.
We're going to Prague.
I'm not.
Neither am I. But I just said it anyway.
No, the day before, I'm actually helping out at a funeral of someone I know. I'm actually sort of doing a couple of readings and that, which will be quite stressful, but it'd be a good way to say goodbye to someone I've known for donkey's years.
I've been to Marie Park's funeral today, Danny.
Oh, did that go off? Yeah. Did that go off nicely? Did it?
Yeah. Do you know what? It was lovely. It was a lovely day, and very sad because obviously I know Marie. We probably did as well. Know Marie quite well. And
no, I didn't know that well. I've met her a few times. And
it's just sad to Phil Park's done a reading. So did Scott. It was. I think it was online as well. There was a lot of people, a lot of players. There's a lot of people there. Very, very sad. Yeah,
she was only in her late 40s, wasn't she?
49, yeah.
Wow.
So sad, isn't it? Right, before we go, a couple of comments. John says, Nigel, that route you're doing is the reverse of the IX Panzer division in 1944.
You have to go try and drive across any broken bridges or anything.
Don't know.
Jake,
But yeah.
Jake, you don't even know what that means, do you?
No, not a clue.
You've
Not a
got an
clue.
history exam next week. Maybe
Yeah.
you read up on it.
No,
Quite
no,
important,
no.
that.
Next
It must
week.
be Shield. You're going to fail history, mate.
Yeah. They
Next
don't
week,
even learn that in history, though, now, do
No, we
they?
don't even learn that. No.
Don't they?
No, this week I've got medicine through time, so going all the way through, and Christ, what's the other thing? Even I've forgotten. What's the other thing? Elizabeth. So yeah,
Elizabeth
the
what?
Elizabeth the First.
Oh, Elizabeth the First.
So yeah, entertaining times. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Andy, Danny, Nigel, thank you very much indeed. We've had a nice reliving moment of Sunday. Should we do it one more time, or is that taking the mic?
Look, before I go, Nigel, have a good time out there. Don't be safe. Andy, nice to meet you. Mr. Frankel done the offs. Jake, thanks for having me on.
That's all right. And Danny, the moral of the story is don't go out on a bender the night before an away day.
And get in the cab with the missus rather than being an idiot.
Yeah.
Don't be so tight. Don't be so tight is what it is.
From us, come on, you irons. It's been a brilliant season. Thank you very much to all of your support. I think this season we've gone through 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9,000 subscribers, and well on the way to 10k now. And to finish things off, we've been demonetized. Cheers, YouTube. Thank you very much. From us,
cheers.
Come on, you irons.